Today, I'm going to show you how to use the latest AI tools to automate 100% of your video creation process. We'll use ChatGPT to come up with a written script, and then we'll use HeyGen, an AI video creation tool, to turn that script into a video of me speaking on my behalf using my personal avatar. And then finally, we'll use automation to take that video and to automatically post it to YouTube. And then we'll glue this entire process together with Zapier so we can repeat this process again with no human interaction at all. Now, my name is Stephen Pope, founder of the Content Engine, and over the past 2 years, I've helped hundreds of serious personal brands and content agencies streamline and automate their content workflows practically overnight. So here's the agenda for today. I'm going to do this as if it were a project, as if I was just sitting down to work on this by myself. I'm going to talk about the logic that I'm using, the decisions that I'm making. So I might make a few mistakes here and there, but you'll see how I correct those. And we'll go all the way to the end. We'll create the script, we'll create the video, and then we'll actually post that to social media without any human interaction at all. It's a little bit creepy, but it's also very cool. I don't recommend this as your social media strategy, but I wanted to experiment with these new tools and see what we could do so that I was prepared for the future. So let's do this. Now I'm going to start in AirTable. This is a program that essentially allows you to build out a database. It's really like a spreadsheet on steroids. And then I can integrate that with Zapier, and we can also integrate with HeyGen, which is the AI video creation tool that I was talking about. And then we can also integrate with Metricool, which is going to take care of the social media posting. So this is a base database that you will get anytime you start a new project in AirTable. So this is exactly what you'll see if you were to create an AirTable account and start a new project. And so we'll go ahead and rename this to AI video creation project, and then we'll rename this table here to videos. And I haven't thought this all the way through, so let's just kind of play around with this. So I'm going to have a name of the video, so I know I need that. And then what I'm going to do is change this to ChatGPT prompt. So what we can do here is we can ask ChatGPT to create the specific script that we want. And I know I'm going to need to store the actual script, so I'm going to change this to video script, and then I'll change this to long text. So we'll be able to send this prompt to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will return a video script, which we can put here. And then once we actually create the video, we're going to need a place to store that video. So I'm going to go ahead and create a URL here for the video itself. And then we might need a status, but I'm not there yet. So let's just start here, and then we'll go beyond and just continue to build on this. So right now we need to create the video script. So I'm going to go ahead and just create this video as why video is important. And then I'm going to create a ChatGPT prompt. I'm just going to say, write me a short video script for a social media post that explains why video is important in 100 words or less. So now we need to create some sort of automation that's going to take this ChatGPT prompt and actually create that video script. So we're going to need some sort of trigger. So I'm just going to rename this view here to video scripts, or all video scripts. And then I'm going to create a status here. We'll call it write video script. And then what I'll do is I'm going to create another view here, write script. And then the only thing that we're going to have here is a condition that says when the status is write video script. So right now we'll only see rows show up here when that status is ready to write the script. So if we come back here and then we select write video script, then if we come to write script, we'll see that here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because we need this view here to actually trigger the automation. So now I'm going to jump over to Zapier, and I'm going to create a new Zapier, and we're going to trigger off of Airtable. We're going to trigger off a new record. You'll want to select the correct account, continue. And I'm going to select the base, AI video creation project. We'll pick the table, videos, limited to view, write script, and if we continue, test the trigger, we'll actually see that row that we just created, so we can go ahead and continue with that. And now we actually have to create that script, so now I'm going to use OpenAI or ChatGPT, create a conversation with ChatGPT. You have to choose your account. Now we have to take the action. So the user message here is going to be the prompt that we created in this row here. So we're going to send it this ChatGPT prompt. So we'll come down here, ChatGPT model. We'll go ahead with that. I'm not as concerned with the script being perfect. I really just want to show how this works. We'll go ahead and continue. We'll test the step. We'll see what it comes up with. I'm not going to try to perfect the script. I really just want to see if I can do this all the way through. So looking at the response here, it's actually coming up with a video script and giving us different things here. So I'm going to go back here and I'm just going to rename this to write a short social media post that explains the importance of video content in less than 50 words. Let's keep it short. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this so that it triggers a new record in Airtable. Come back to Airtable. We'll go back to step 1 just so I can trigger this again. Let's look for new records. We should see a new one. Grab record B now, write a short social media post, and now we'll continue with this, and then we'll test this and see what it comes up with. All right, so we have a much shorter and distinct video script that we can use. It did add some hashtags, which ultimately I don't want. It's going to sound a little bit weird when it comes through the video, but we'll have a laugh. So I ultimately, in my prompt here, I might say don't include social media hashtags or something along those lines. But I don't want to get caught up on some of those details. So now what I need to do is I need to update that row that is in this section here and actually add that script, video script here back to Airtable so that I could look at it and review it if I wanted to. So we'll go ahead and add an extra step. Airtable, update record, pick the base, the table, video, and the record that we're going to update is from step number 1. So we'll go to custom here and we'll grab the ID from step number 1. And then what we're going to do is update that video script with the information from step number 2. So look for that reply here. We'll grab that and then we will click continue, test the step, jump back over to Airtable, and we'll see that we now have that video script. So when we do our final test, maybe I'll change that prompt not to include emojis or social media hashtags, just so it doesn't trip up the HeyGen video creation tool. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this and remove it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new view that is create video. Let's go back up here. I'm going to create another status here, which is create video. So now that we have that status in there, we can go ahead and save it. And then I'm going to have a step here, which is to filter by select is. So now we're only going to see rows in here that are actually with that status create video. So if I go over here and I say create video, if I jump over here, we're going to see that new row here. So now what I can do is I can jump back over to Zapier. I'll take a step back. Should have our initial Zap here. So this is, I'm going to rename this create video script. Then we'll create a new Zap here, Airtable. Again, you're going to pick a new record, choose account. You're going to want to pick the base, you'll pick the table, then you'll pick limit to view. And in this case, we're going to say create video, continue. Let's see what it comes back in terms of triggers. All right, so we have this one here. We'll go ahead and continue with that selected record. And now in this next step, we have to actually create that video. So I'm going to use the HeyGen API Zapier function here, event. I'm going to create a video, continue. Now I've already gone ahead and created a video avatar. So what you do is you essentially send HeyGen a video of yourself and then they create a avatar from that you can then create videos from. So we're going to go ahead and select that avatar that I created. You're going to see a Stephen G. Pope here. Voice name, again, we're looking for Stephen G. Pope. We can leave these as is. If we want to use a title, did we put a title on this video? Okay, so we can use the name there. So on the title here, we'll use the name. Caption, we'll just leave that to default. And then I forgot we have the input text here, so we'll need to send it the script, and we'll use the video script here, continue. And now we can actually test this step here. So we'll go ahead and actually have it create that video. It responded with a video ID. Now I'm going to jump over to HeyGen here and just look at the videos. It looks like it's starting to create that video right now. Why video is important. While this is processing, I'm going to head back to Zapier, because what we're going to need to do now is create a automation that will trigger once that video has been created so that we can take the next step. I'm going to go ahead and rename this to create video. I'm going to go back to our HeyGen automation. So now we have the create video script. Now we've got the create video. Now I'll go ahead and create the Zap that will actually respond once that video is created. So let's pick a new trigger. In this case, we're going to go HeyGen triggers when a avatar video is successfully generated. So let's go see, is it finished yet? All right, so it looks like that video is finished. We can actually open this up and take a quick look at it. Video content is taking over social media. It captivates and engages audiences like never before, making it an essential tool for businesses and content creators. Don't miss out on the power of video in your online presence. Let's go ahead and continue with the automation now. So if we come back over here to the test trigger, looks like it created a video. I'm gonna hit find new records just to see if it's the most recent one. Looks like there's one right here. And then if I take this URL here, I can confirm, just open this in the browser. All right, looks like the right video. So now what we can do is in our automation, we can take that next step. And what we're really gonna do here, add this to Google Drive so that we can actually save that into a folder here. And then we can actually track it in our Airtable database. So I believe in our Airtable database, we have a video link that we can add. So we will use that. First thing we'll do is we will upload it to Google Drive so we can store it, upload video or upload file, choose an account, folder. I'm gonna go to my projects folder, into our HeyGen automation, drop it right here, and then we will use the file that we got from step number 1. They give us this URL, so we can use that. Convert to document, file name, we can leave that blank. It's gonna use the title. We can go ahead and click continue, test that step. If I jump over to Google Drive, we should see that video pop up here. And then what I can do from here is I can save that URL back to Airtable, update record, continue, choose account, continue, base, table, row. We're going to use the row from, actually I can't use this because we weren't working with the previous record. So we really need to find that record. So if we look back here, I think we have the title in the test. We don't actually, it doesn't give us the title. It just gives us that video ID. So really what we should have done in this create video section here, what we should really do, update this original row with the video ID so that we can find that row later. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump over to Airtable. I'm going to add a video ID, just make it a single line text. Then what I'm going to do is use Airtable and update the row with the video ID. Remember, put your base in the table. And this time we have that record, so I can go ahead and update that record here. So we'll use that record from step number 1. Step number 1 here, use that ID. And then what we're going to do is we're going to update that video ID from what we got in step number 2. Here we have that video ID. We'll drop that here. Continue, test. And now if I go back to the Zap we're working on, I can actually find that specific row in Airtable, choose event, find record, continue, base, AI project, table, videos, search by field. We'll search by video ID. Search value is going to be the video ID from step number 1. There it is. Continue, test. All right, now it found that row. And so now we can actually update that row with that record here. We'll use from step number 3 right here, custom, step number 3. And then we'll use the Airtable row ID this time. And what we're gonna wanna do is update the video URL. It probably would have been better to rename this video URL, refresh fields, video URL, and we'll rename that with what we got back from Google Drive. What you want to look for is alternative. That's the best link I've found to use. So alternative link here, grab that, go ahead and click continue, test the step. Now if we go back to Airtable, we have the Google Drive link. If I click on that, it's going to open up that video. So we've got that direct link. So we've got it saved in Google Drive. So we have a backup. Just for convenience, let's also store HeyGen URL. Might come in handy. And then we'll jump back over to Zapier, and then we'll update the row again. We'll put in the HeyGen URL as well, just in case we want to use that. Now there's certainly technical design choices on why you would upload it to Google Drive or not, or use a Google Drive URL or use the HeyGen URL. I'm really just trying to show you an example and show you how you might try to create these different steps. You could totally do it a completely different way, but this just gives you a good overview of some design choices that you might make in order to make this effective for your own situation. So I'll go ahead and retest that step, and now we should have the HeyGen URL as well. So now we can really take that last step and we can actually send it to social media. So I'm going to add one more status here, send to YouTube. And as you might expect, I am going to create another view here, send to YouTube. And here I'm going to filter out based off of the status is send to YouTube. And so now what we can do is we can create one final step, which is to actually send it to Metricool. So next, I'm gonna jump back over to Zapier, and this is the process new video. So we have that. Now we need one more Zap, which is to send it to YouTube. Go to Airtable, We're going to trigger off a new record, continue, choose account, continue, AI video project, table, limit to view, send to YouTube. Now we don't have anything there yet, so let's change the status here from create video. We'll change it to send to YouTube. Zapier, we can test that trigger. I have that record now. So now what we need to do is actually send this to Metricool. So I'm going to use the Metricool Zap. I'm going to add a post to an auto list. I won't go into the details of this, but this is just a feature on Metricool that allows you to post a video to a list, and then Metricool will select from that list and then post that video. And let me just make sure I have a auto list set up here. So I'm going to go up to planning. I'm going to go to auto lists. Looks like I have a couple before. I'm going to just create a new one just so I know that I'm doing the right thing. New auto list, AI auto list demo. We're to publish YouTube. That's good. Global presets. Don't need to do anything there. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 6 p.m. because I think by the time I finish this, that'll be a good time to actually post this. I'll post this at 6:05 and we'll just put every day. So I got a little bit of time here to make this work. And so this auto list is this ID here. So I'm going to have to come back here. Now I'll go back to Zapier, choose account, continue, action, brand name. I'm going to use my development site. The list here, we'll use the AI auto list demo. So we'll go ahead and put an AI title here, AI video title. So now what we could have done is also used some of the fields here. We could have had ChatGPT come up with a title and a description. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that we have something here. I'll go ahead and do that. And then for media one, I'm just going to go ahead and use the HeyGen URL just to keep things simple. If I were to use the Google Drive URL, which is totally acceptable as well, I would need to make that URL public. And since I know this one already is, I'm just going to go ahead and grab that, and then we'll scroll down here, click continue. Let's test. Looks like it was successful. Jump back over to Metricool. I'm going to refresh this. So now at 6:05 in just 3 minutes here, that video is going to go live. So we'll come over here to our YouTube channel and we'll check for that. It should be here in just a few minutes. So here we can see that video has been uploaded. If we jump back over to Metricool, that video is no longer here and it's being processed by YouTube. It's going to take a few minutes to process, but we should be able to click on this link and actually watch it on YouTube. And there you go. So there we have the entire process. And so now if we go back to our Airtable database, we should be able to create a new row and have that process happen automatically. Now, a couple of things we need to do to make it automatic is we created a few of these different views. So that means that in this process here, so we'll rename this to post to social media. Let that save. All that means is that at each of these steps, when we update the Airtable row, we do need to also set the status so that the process happens automatically. So I'm going to come back to the action. In this status here, it looks like we left it as select. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to rename this to status. So the first thing we need to do is change the first one to create video. Come back to Zapier. So when we update the table here, we want to move it to, what is it? We want to create video. In this step here, in the action, we'll update the status to create video. Go ahead and continue. And then I'm going to publish this so it's live. I need to go over to create video. And in this update, we need to set the status to, what is it here? Send to YouTube. I'll just cut and paste that so I don't make a mistake. Action, status, send to YouTube, continue, publish. All right, so we'll create a new row so we can try to go all the way through. I'm going to add this here. I added a step here, brainstorming, so that it didn't trigger some of the other statuses. We'll say, why is social media important? Then let's copy this. Let's try to correct some of the little things that it was doing that we don't want. We'll see what happens. Write a short social media post that explains the importance of social media in less than 50 words. Do not include hashtags. Do not include emojis. We'll see if ChatGPT listens to us. So let's just jump back over to Zapier, make sure everything is ready. So we got to turn these two zaps on as well. And then in Metricool, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to give it some time because I created that auto list to go out at 6:05. And so I need to go back over here and just change that to a little bit later. I'm going to give some time for this to work. I'm just going to pick 25 just in case, probably more than I need. I just go with 20. That gives us 7 minutes to complete this process. Let's make sure it's saved. So now all we should have to do is send this to write video script, and these automations should start to run. So if I jump over to write script, we're gonna see something pop up here. Now, actually, sometimes these automations can take a second to run. So I'm gonna just go ahead and trigger it manually, just so that we're not waiting around. But this would normally happen on its own. So it found a new record. So now it actually wrote the script. Oh, look, it still included the hashtags. I'm gonna remove those, see if I can remove those before that next step runs. So you'd wanna just engineer your prompt so that that didn't happen. Although it'd be funny to see what happens if the AI creates that video. So now let's go to the create video step. I'm gonna go back over here and just trigger that manually. Normally it would run on its own, but Zapier can take a few minutes to run that. So I'm just gonna trigger it. So now that's running. If I jump over to HeyGen, we should see a new video being created. That's happening right now. That's gonna take just a few minutes. Now it looks like that video is completed. Let's go ahead and just play that video so we can actually see what it sounds like. Social media is a powerful tool that connects people, fosters communication, and amplifies voices. Its importance lies in its ability to bridge distances, share information, and empower individuals, making the world a smaller and more connected place. So obviously it was a little robotic, but pretty impressive on what it's able to do. Again, I wouldn't recommend just doing this and posting it to social media. This is really just an experiment on what we're able to do. But now if we jump back over to Airtable, we should see the create process is no longer here. So that means it should be sending it to YouTube. All right, and so now we're seeing that in Metricool, and it should just publish in just a few minutes here to our YouTube channel. And that shows us an end-to-end test from beginning to end. So we'll take a look at the channel here and we'll do a refresh. We'll wait just a couple minutes and we'll come back. So we should see that test going out right now. We can see that video is now processing. It's just going to take a few minutes to process, and then we will have a live YouTube video. There we go. It's still being processed, but you can see it's 100% live. And so there you go. With just these zaps here and this Airtable database, we are able to completely write a script from scratch, create the video, and then actually send it to YouTube where we can actually view and watch that video. So there you go. I hope you found this video valuable. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It really gives me an idea of what videos that you like and which ones I should be creating more of. If you want to learn how to create a more advanced Airtable database that you can use day to day to build out these types of automations, make sure to check out the next video. I go in depth on how you can create an Airtable database to structure everything for you and your team. Check out that video, and I'll see you there.